coordinator here at PEF. I work in the divisions department, which, as many of you know, is the elections department, because you've probably seen my name on all of your election material that you received. I just wanted to let you know that the department's staffed by myself and Jessica Carpenter, who's the divisions information assistant. So when you call, you're either going to get myself or Jessica, corresponding with you. Just to give you a little bit of background on the department, we do run all of the regular elections, all the vacancy elections. There's about 220 plus divisions, just to give you an idea of how many divisions we service doing elections for them. As well as the elections, my department also handles all of the divisions committee, triennial election committee, delegate election committee. So if you submitted a petition for delegate, it was processed through the divisions department, as well as the special elections committee, and that's the committee that handles the vacancies for e-board. So just to give you a little bit of an idea what a typical year looks like for divisions, we run right around 200 elections a year. That's for both regularly scheduled elections per your constitution and vacancy elections. So if you have vacant positions or people resign or transfer, and we have to fill those vacancies. So we are a pretty busy department. Again, we also process all of the delegate petitions. There were 786 of those this year, 30 that went to balloting. So paper is our life in the divisions department. We have a lot of paper. I know Joe talked to you guys earlier about your PEF email addresses. I just want to stress that when we correspond with you, we're going to send it to your PEF email address. I know a lot of times you may send information to us via your personal. We will respond back to your personal email address, but we will probably also put your PEF address on there. We are trying to get council leaders to use that email address. That's the email address that PEF will use to communicate with you, all the various notices that they want you to get out to your membership. So that's also the email that we're going to use as well. So please try to go regularly into that inbox. Did you have a question, Susan?
Yeah, once we get that email set up,
Yeah.
can we request that we then don't get, are we gonna get two different types of emails?
If you don't want to, you can let us know.
I just
that
don't
you-
wanna have to reduplicate, or,
Nope,
you know,
that's fine.
if I could just get it all in one account.
We default to your PEF. The only time we're gonna use your personal is if you use that as the initial communication to us.
Okay.
Because we don't want you to miss that. I don't want to respond to your PEF if you're not looking
Right.
into your PEF for that response. So, just however you want to communicate with us, use that as your first line of communication with us.
Okay.
And my presentation is very fluid, so feel free to ask questions as they come about. Nothing I have is set in stone here, and I know we might be a little bit behind on time. So for email addresses, like I said, make sure you're checking your PEF.org email address, especially for communication from my department. That's what we're going to use to communicate with you. Along with that, the email addresses, the big thing is making sure that you are keeping your members informed. And you're going to want to do that through their email addresses. You don't want to use your state email address to do PEF business. So I suggest a lot of times using your sign-in sheets for your meetings as a way to update your members' contact info. That way you have it, and then you can also forward a copy of that to me here at PEF, and then we'll have the most up-to-date information as well. Did you have a question, Joe?
Yeah, is there any way to get like business cards that you could have your PEF email on that you can
For
give out?
council leaders,
Yeah.
business cards are going to come through the communications department. You can check in with them
Okay.
either today when you have time between trainings, or you can send an email to the communications department and they can do that as well. That's a good thing as well. That way you can hand that out. It'll
Right.
have your PEF email address on it, and you can have members contact you that way. The other thing with my department, mailing addresses. Since we mail out so much, so much paper, sometimes I get members call and say, I never got my petition, I never got my ballot, I never got, some sort of correspondence. The mailing address that the divisions department uses comes from the comptroller's office. It's on a payroll file that gets sent to us. We can't manually change that address. So if you get a member that comes to you and says, I didn't get a ballot, I didn't get a petition, I didn't get some other sort of election type material from the divisions department, they actually need to go to their personnel or HR department and update that address directly with them. You'll know it's updated when the address on your pay stub changes over to the new address. So keep that in mind as well, because we get a lot of returned mail in divisions, whether a forwarding address has expired or somebody has moved. And come election time, that's a big issue, because we want to make sure that those ballots are getting out to the members, petitions are getting out to the members, and we're not having any issue, with any sort of returned mail. A couple other things I wanted to touch on, especially as you as council leaders, are council meetings. Does anybody here know how many council meetings your division is supposed to have in a year? Some say 6.
Quarterly?
2 months.
2. The typical number is 4 to 6. You would actually find that information in your constitution. Sam tells me that there should be a copy of your division constitution in your binders. So you're going to want to look under Article 4. It's under that article, and it will tell you how many council meetings you are supposed to have in a year. That is how many times your stewards are supposed to meet and do various, union business, whether that is approving the budget, which Kevin will talk about later with accounting, or approving expenditures, again, which Kevin will talk about, or doing any sort of union business with your stewards coming together. So please make sure that you are, complying with how many of those meetings you are supposed to be having per year.
Do you get the notes, do you get the minutes?
We do not. My office does not. Now, accounting, depending on what happens during those meetings, if you're approving expenditures, they may need those based on what type of expenditure you're approving. Frank?
I just have a question
Yeah.
regarding Constitution.
Yep.
I think I talked to you a while ago about this. We want to make some changes. Our Constitution has several outdated things. Could you go over the process that
Yep.
the council has to go through to make changes in their Constitution,
Yep,
update
I have
things?
that in here. So there's 2 types of changes that a division can make to their constitution. One's called what we call a technical change. A technical change is any change in Article 1 or Article 3. So if you're looking at your division constitution now, you'll see that Article 1 is the name, and Article 3 is the membership section, which basically loosely defines who your members are in that division. We have found that there actually are a lot that are outdated. Old names, agency names have changed. The membership section, which defines those members, we have outdated addresses in their buildings that don't exist anymore. So those are the easiest things to change.
Okay.
What you would do there is you would contact my office. We would supply you with the forms necessary to do that. Your council can actually make those changes. It takes a majority vote of the council. That information gets forwarded to the PEP Divisions Committee, which is a committee that the Divisions Department staffs. And upon their recommendation to the board, the e-board, yep, those necessary changes would be approved. It does not have to go back to your membership for any sort of a vote. Your stewards basically handle the updating of that. That's the easiest of the amendment processes. If you want to amend any other of the articles, not 1, not 3, if you go to the back of your constitution, the amendment process is there. So to start it, to just give you a quick outline, to start it, it takes a 2/3 vote of your council to approve whatever proposed changes are put forth.
Right.
Those changes would then go to the divisions committee for review. Upon their recommendation to the e-board, those changes would then go back to your membership, and your membership would actually have to vote on those changes.
And who pays for the cost of that?
The divisions department.
The
So,
divisions?
probably won't take another one for another vote here. So I'm here, call me with any questions, concerns, anything like that, I'm willing to help. I've been here for 16 years, so I try to say I know most of it, maybe not everything, but, you know, try to stump me with a question if you want. Yeah.
I come from a small facility.
Okay.
with
What
everybody
agency are you, or what
else.
facility?
Independent.
Yeah, okay. I've actually gone out
Have you?
there. I have.
Oh.
It's a drive.
It's a drive and there's a lot of wilderness.
Yeah.
All wilderness. That being said, I can't find anybody, we have me now, we have a treasurer
Okay.
and, I don't know, an assistant.
Assistant leader.
Nobody will be the, secretary.
Okay.
Is that, can we still count
You can-
ourselves as having a?
You can still
council
function,
and-
you can still
Okay,
function.
just have
You know,
somebody else take notes?
I don't like to tell people that you really only need a leader and a treasurer, because then they go, oh, then we don't need to fill the other positions. But it's true. To be able to still function as a division, you need minimum at least a leader and a treasurer. That gives you access to your money, and that gives us, the dual check for the money, you know, a leader and a treasurer. But certainly try to continue to fill those, you know, fill those positions. We can certainly work with you to come out and talk to the members. Field can come out and talk to your members, see if we can get somebody interested. But yeah, you'll be fine as long as you have a leader and a treasurer that's elected, because that, like I said, that gives us the,
All we need is a secretary. Nobody wants to do it.
okay. Who normally takes the minutes at your meeting then? Does one of the other?
We just got, it for like the past 4 months, it's been me, and now we only just like a
Okay.
week and a half, 2 weeks ago, we got the treasurer and the assistant.
So we're working some other need, we can go to the divisions committee, and that is one of their, as a committee, that is one of their charges, is to review those types of requests. So if you're in a division now where you say, you know, I'm one steward, and we have, you know, however many members, I need more help. Certainly let me know, reach out to me, send me an email, and we'll take a look and see what we can do for you. Like I said, Sharon's division, they're a small division when you look at them as far as how many members they have, but you're spread out over 3 regions, right? Regions 10, 11, and 12, so basically all downstate. And it's not like you can just hop in your car and drive down the street to the next office. You're going on, you know, the metro, you're walking, probably in the rain, because that's what happened to me the last time I was in the city. But it's not easy to get to that office. So it's more beneficial to have a steward elected in that office than try to send somebody that has to take, you know, 3 trains and 4 buses to get there. So certainly reach out to me, let me know if any of those scenarios are happening in your division.
The question I have about the divisions is, how often does the divisions committee meet? And I know you're a PEP employee. Are there PEP employees or state employees, or a mix on it?
So for the divisions committee, they typically meet quarterly, because we try to have their meetings before the executive board, because most of the items that the divisions committee handles have to go to the executive board for some type of response. So we typically try to schedule those 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out from an e-board meeting. That way we can get the stuff or the packet that goes out to the board to vote on. And it's actually made up of PEP members.
So it is mostly members?
It is, with the exception of me as the staff person, and that just means that I collect the data for them, I take the minutes and do all
How
that
many people are
information. On the divisions committee, currently there are 6. We had 7, but we did lose somebody to a retirement.
How did they get appointed?
They get appointed by the president. Yeah, the president appoints them.
So every 3 years they get appointed?
And it basically is every 3 years, or a lot of times it's until they said they've had enough and don't wanna do it anymore. So that's usually how that works. Listen, divisions, I can talk for 3-4 hours. I told Tammy I would keep it really, really short.
Well, you answered my question.
But one of the big things right now is the fee payer list. As council leaders, you may start receiving from me, or you may already have received from me and wondered, what is this list that I am getting? It's your fee payer list. I am trying to send it out every other month, because I don't want to seem like I'm hounding. Fill out an application. The application is online now. They have made it easier where you can go on and actually do an electronic signature, which is nice, because then you know as soon as that button is pushed for send, it goes right to PATH. There's no paper to hold on to or anything like that, and it will be processed on the next available payroll for that individual. So when you get those lists from me, don't think I'm hounding you. I'm just trying to have the division start having those conversations with those fee payers, get them signed up, and then you'll get the money for them. And then you can, have more money for your events. Frank?
It would be, sorry.
No, you're
It would be
fine.
extremely helpful, this is real important to me. I have, I believe 14 total.
Okay.
Out of my agency, and I see the same names on the list, I've
Mhm.
been getting lists for a long time.
Yep.
It would be helpful if, I know it's probably a pre-printed list, is there any way you can indicate, because I did have 2 people who were on there who weren't aware